Ooh, got a fancy countdown. Don't have the fancy music yet, but let's get started here on the channel tonight. Today, if you're watching it the next day, let's talk some Texans here on the channel. Welcome in. I'm Cody Stoots. Appreciate you checking out the channel this evening. Plenty to get to on this Texans and Buccaneers matchup. The Texans offense versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. What exactly do the Texans need to do to slow down this aggressive Buccaneers defense, get back on track, and start scoring some damn points? And I'm not talking about 3 at a time. I'm talking about 7 at a time. We're going to dive into that. How good is Tampa's defense? Why is it one of the weirder defenses in all of football? The respect that this team has for Todd Bowles and the way that he calls defense, and so much more. Appreciate you joining the stream. And if you're watching it after the fact, appreciate you watching that as well. Get live in the comments section. Get in the comments section. If you're watching this after the fact, we'll announce the way you can win our next raffle in this video as well. Our friends at Cabo Bob's going to take care of us. We'll talk about some Underdog Fantasy and so much more here on the show tonight. Appreciate everybody jumping in as you have. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little Texans and Buccaneers. This is a tough Buccaneers defense coming to town. And as I was looking at this matchup and I was getting ready for this matchup, I was paying attention to exactly what the Buccaneers do well and what kind of defense they have. The first thing that jumped off the page to me is they are a blitz-happy football team. They love to blitz. They will get after you. They will blitz from just about everywhere. They are the 5th most team in the NFL when it comes to using the blitz on defense. And that's kind of a staple of Todd Bowles. It's a hallmark of what he does and what he likes to do. And then I started to think about, well, the Texans are going to have a brand new starting center, and the Texans are going to have the offensive line around that brand new starting center and Michael Dieter that's been a little shaky at times. And yeah, the pass protection has been there. They haven't allowed a ton of sacks, but there was a little pressure last week. There were some messy pockets that CJ Stroud had to work with, and that was with a not great Carolina Panthers defense that doesn't have a tremendous amount of talent when it comes to rushing the passer. And now you start thinking about all the blitzing that Tampa does, all the blitzing that Tampa can do, and then you're like, okay, CJ Stroud, the mobility, that's going to be a big key this weekend against the Buccaneers. Just the confidence to go in there, see what's open, make the throw, take what they're giving you, and then go and try to move the chains quickly. There's no long developing stuff like that unless you got it well blocked and well taken care of against this Buccaneers defense. So 5th in the NFL in blitz percentage when it comes to defenses. That is a lot of pressure and a lot of heat. And as Nico Ryans is about to tell you, they bring it from everywhere.
Pressures are so varied, it's hard to get a bead on when they're doing what they're doing. So if you try to focus in on what they're doing, you won't be able to figure it out, right, in the game. So you just have to do what we do well, right? And as things come, you can't be surprised because there may be a corner blitz and safety. Anybody can blitz at any time. We just have to be aware that things can change. The picture can change on us, and we have to be ready to adapt as that picture changes.
The picture will change. Processing. CJ Stroud seeing some things, making some things happen with the football. This is not necessarily a beat the blitz scheme offense that you're going to put together. It's a trust what you see, trust that you've done your work and you see what's happening. And then ultimately, guys have to get open, and they have to get open quick. That means Tank Dell's got to get open. That means Nico Collins has got to get open. And that means the Texans have to call some of that quick stuff that they've had some success with in recent memory. Think about some of those plays that CJ Stroud had a little bit early on in the season where it was boom, boom, throw, step, step, throw. That quick one to Tank Dell, I believe it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Tank basically took one step off the line of scrimmage and CJ Stroud was firing that sucker in there to him. That's a Robert Woods situation as well. That quick stuff, a lot of it's gone to Robert Woods. He's not playing this weekend. You're not going to have Robert Woods, so figure out who that quick guy is that you trust in this offense. get the ball out fast, make them pay for blitzing you, and on the occasion that they really send somebody and leave something over there for you, go out there and hit that big play. The Texans didn't hit the big play against the Carolina Panthers. The miss to Nico Collins deep, the miss to Nico Collins on the crossing route in the fourth quarter right before they ended up having to punt the ball, and then they never got the ball back for the Panthers. Hit those big plays when you have the opportunity. One or two big plays along with 1,000 paper cuts, that might be more than enough to take care of this Buccaneers defense. Talked a lot about the blitzing. How about the offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowik? Hey, Bobby, how you handling the blitzing?
Yeah, I'd say, I feel like I've gone against Todd Bowles now. This will be the third or fourth time since I've been an offensive coach in charge of game planning, and he's definitely one of the tougher play callers to go against, and it's everything you hit on. Everybody has a blitz. Everybody has a pressure. There's 4-man rush. There's 3-man rush. There's multiple looks in the run game. Like there's just a lot that he does that just demands on offense that, and it ties into what we want to do anyway, because it's been really what's been holding us back the last couple of weeks. We need to find a way to make sure this is clean. It's clear cut. It's clean. There's no ifs, ands, ors. We're out there, we're playing ball, we're playing fast, and whatever happens, whatever structure they showed, we can react and we can go play efficiently and just play clean football. Because when we play clean football, we feel like we're confident in what we're doing. And when we've held ourselves back, usually that's when we've really struggled.
This is very much a matchup and very much an opponent that if the Texans take care of their business, they play, like Bobby Slowik said, a clean game. They play a game where they're not making a lot of mistakes. They should be able to move the football, and they should be able to put some points on the board against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. The thing about points in this game that's really important is they're going to be at a premium yet again. Tampa has a weird defense. Or as I put in the Twitter, Tampa's got a weird D. Phrasing. Tampa's got a weird defense. This is a defense that will let you stay on the field until you make a mistake. They will let you stay on the field. They'll let you stay on the field, and the next thing you know, you're not putting a touchdown in the end zone. You're going to find yourself with 3 points, or you're going to find yourself with a turnover, because Tampa's got the best turnover differential in the entire National Football League. This is a defense that, listen to this, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the worst defense in football on third down. Typically, you're a really bad defense when you're on that bad on third down. And over the past 3 games, which is their 3-game losing streak, they're even worse than their season average. They allow teams to convert on third down over 50% of the time. And over the last 3, teams have been converting almost 55% of the time on third down. And you think about the struggles that the Texans have had on third down, this is a perfect defense to stay on the field, get in rhythm, and hit some of your big plays, because the Buccaneers will allow you to be on the field for long stretches because they can't stop people on third down. They're allowing people to convert third downs over the last 3 games at a 55% clip nearly. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. And the Texans have struggled on third down. The efficiency on third down has been atrocious for the Texans. Even when they're having success, they still have a hiccup here or there on third down. This is one of those situations where in a rhythm, getting into something is going to be very possible against this Buccaneers team. But here's why I say it's a weird D. Really bad on third down. Really bad on third down, but total defense, they're tied with the Texans in points allowed for 6th overall, which is really good. And they are the best team by a good margin. They're the best team in football in the red zone on defense. And the Texans, we know, because they kick the ball so damn much, struggle on red zone possessions. The Buccaneers are the best team in football in the red zone on defense by a good margin, by 7 percentage points. And they've been good in the red zone even over the 3-game losing streak. So they'll let you stay on the field. And then when it gets to crunch time, the Buccaneers tighten everything up and force you to kick field goals, or they force you into a mistake and then they're running back the other way with the football because you made that mistake. It's a really weird defense. They blitz a lot. They let you hit big plays. They let you keep the team on the field, and then they stop you. And then they stop you when it's time to bow up and it's time to stop you. They get it done. And they force you to kick, and they force you to settle for 3s instead of 7s. And then they go down and they put some 7s on the board. And that's how they win. And they haven't been able to do that on offense as well. They've come up against some teams that have some pretty decent defenses over the past 3 weeks. That's why they've lost the past 3 weeks. They haven't been able to consistently move the ball on offense. The Buccaneers will let you consistently move the ball on offense. That is the way it is set up. And as long as you don't get in the red zone and stall out, you should be able to have some success against this team. You should be able to have some success against this team. Now, talk about the explosive plays for the Texans here in just a moment, but I want to get into some of your questions and comments. And if you're with me, cut my fingernails harder. Go ahead and crack one for the working folks around the world. Some of your questions and comments. Rick, appreciate you jumping in. Dennis, thank you. Frank, good to see you. Mattmar, my good friend, how are you? Darwin Lemon, good to see you. Justin Booze. Man, I ain't talking about the offseason right now. It's week 8. Week 9. It's week 9 of the National Football League. We're not talking about the offseason right now. Dennis Collins gets open pretty quickly on most of the drives. Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, the gadget run plays, less of them, more throw the ball to Tank. Less of them, more throw the ball to Tank. BCB's in here. Blitzing not my concern. Stroud does a great job against the blitz. My concern is when they drop 8 into coverage and Robert Woods and the safety blanket isn't there. Look, when you grow up and you lose your whoopee, when you lose your safety blanket, when you lose the blanket that you love so much, you got to find a new one. You got to find a new one. I believe it's Noah Brown more than likely, but it could be Tank Dell. It could be these running backs throwing the ball to them. It could be Dalton Schultz, the only tight end that you're really going to be able to put on the field and have a lot of confidence about in catching the football. Like, you got to find a new safety blanket. Robert Woods going down can't sink your offense, okay? Like, that's a really frustrating element of watching this team. You can't lose 30-year-old or, wrong side of 30 for a wide receiver, Robert Woods, and have your offense go to hell in a handbasket. That is something that cannot happen to C.J. Stroud, Bobby Slowik, and the rest of this team. Robert Woods cannot be a vital part of your offense to that level, and then you just have everything fall apart because you can't run him out there. Like, that can't happen. Flame Hashira Kilo. I hope I said that right. Imagine Slowick actually runs an offense where we throw the ball and not act like we have a run game. It's there's going to be some more throwing this week, I think. That's where I think we're going to get. So we're going to get some more throwing this week. I'm not super worried about it. Vincent, this is a problem. Bobby Slowik is calling the whole entire offense, not letting CJ Shout switch up plays. There's so many checkouts open in Carolina. CJ able one wide receiver. I think CJ's got a little freedom at the line of scrimmage. You just got to see it. I'll tell you this. They believe in this offense. They believe in this offense. They believe they can hit some of these plays. And Bobby Slowik, we're going to hear this from him in a second. Like, they were close to hitting some big plays that if they had hit them, they beat the Carolina Panthers handily. And we're talking about a 4-3 Texans team. They didn't hit these big plays. They didn't. So they've got to figure out a way to manufacture a better opportunity. And as many of us have asked for, as many of us want, throwing the ball more will help you. Throwing the ball more will help you get more opportunities for those big plays. JJ Stagg, good to see you in here. Appreciate it. Sean G, thank you. Kevin Ryan, Devin Singletary gets what percentage of the carries? The majority. I would think Singletary, Bobby Slowik called him one of the best athletes on the team today. At the podium, Bobby Slowik called him one of the best athletes on the team, one of the best football players on the team. And Dameon Pierce is not going to play this weekend. He hadn't practiced. He's got an ankle injury. I don't believe he's going to play this weekend. And if he does play, I don't believe he's going to be effective. So Devin Singletary is going to be the guy with Mike Boone behind him. And the way Slowick shouted out Jared Dokes from the practice squad makes me believe that perhaps he's going to be elevated as your third running back. So primarily Singletary with some Mike Boone mixed in. Any updates on Stingley? He's still hurt. What's up with Mechie? Yeah, I don't know. The Mechie situation is interesting, and that's a guy that has had some explosive plays. He's only had 8 targets and 7 catches, I think, or 7 targets and 6 catches on the season. Hasn't even been thrown at the past 2 games. And I wonder if it's a combination of you just trust veterans, you trust other guys more, you don't trust Mechie, he's not quite grasped it yet, or he's just doing some of the dirty work that Robert Woods does. Like Mechie's a physical guy, he can block a little bit, we've seen it. I just wonder if he's doing some of the dirty work, and that's kept him from getting the opportunities that's kept him from getting some of the opportunities that a regular wide receiver would get. I mean, he's been targeted 7 times this season, 0 times in the past 2 games. So the expectations are really low. But if you're gonna try to beat a guy quick and get the ball out there, I feel like that's something Mechie can do. I saw him do it in training camp quite a bit. Mike M., what foods do you think of when you think Tampa Bay need ideas for the game? I think about shrimp. I don't think about lobster. That feels like an East Coast, like up the coast type thing. I don't think about lobster. I think about shrimp for some reason, because Tampa's like almost an old people community. It feels like to me, or it's like not quite old, but not like in their prime community. It's kind of how I feel about Tampa. And I just feel like that crew likes shrimp a lot. It's like maybe like a shrimp cocktail or something. I don't know. Let's see here. A couple more comments. We'll get to the next thing about the explosive plays. Why isn't the Texans run power runs using Quinturiano Beck as fullback? Hardly see Beck line up as fullback. Beck lines up as fullback quite a bit. It's not great. And Quinturiano's on the IR, so you're not using him very much. This new guy they got from Drake, this new tight end, he's not the biggest fella. He's lanky. He's lanky, but he's not thick like Quinturiano. So I don't know how that's going to affect the blocking and the 2 tight end stuff. Yeah, the O-line, it cannot pull. And Titus Howard is unwilling, it feels like, to pull right now. Let's see here. Honestly, with the run game problem, is Titus at guard instead of tackle? We're not going to find out because they're not going to play him at tackle this week. They're going to play him at guard from everything we've seen at the open portions of practice. So, open portion of practice today, Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, Michael Dieter, Shaq Mason, and George Fant. That's left to right, your offensive line. I am very much in favor of the swap and plucking Titus and dropping him back at right tackle and then putting a new left guard in there. I'm very much in favor of that. I don't believe it's going to happen. All right, so keep your comments coming. We'll star them, get to them after this next little portion that I want to get to. Explosive plays. So Bobby Slowik was asked about the explosive plays earlier when he was at the podium this week, and I liked his answer, and then I went and did some digging and paying attention to kind of the opponents they faced and some of the success they've had. We'll get into it. Here's Bobby Slowik on how to get those explosive plays back.
We're striving for explosive plays. We've done a pretty good job of it most of the year. I'd say we struggled early on, just taking advantage of some explosive opportunities. And then really the last 2 games, and I mainly would say the second half in New Orleans and then last week for sure. We had some opportunities there that we just didn't finish. We didn't really quite, take advantage of. We had some deep balls there that we missed that were explosive ops. We had, I think, 4 batted or tipped balls. One of which wasn't explosive, and then there were some others that we felt pretty good about the looks we were thrown into, and they knocked them down, which makes it when you can't take advantage of the looks you want, it's obviously that's going to limit the amount of chunk plays.
All right, so he says they were close. They had some opportunities. They didn't make a couple of the plays. A few of them got batted down. And it's worth noting, Carolina very much dropped their defensive linemen to get in the passing lanes. And that was a concerted effort from Carolina. And it's something that I wonder if other teams are going to try to replicate, because it is not super easy to, without a blitz, beat this Texans offensive line. 4-man rushes, 3-man rushes. It's not super easy to beat this offensive line in recent weeks. So if you don't win right away, take a couple steps back, throw your hands up, and see if you can get into the passing lanes. And Carolina did that. They made a concerted effort to do it throughout the course of the game, and it worked pretty well for them. And as Bobby Slowik mentioned, they had a couple of plays. They just didn't hit them. And I think about Nico Collins deep. I think about Nico Collins across the middle when you were in the fourth quarter trying to close the thing out. So he mentioned the second half of the New Orleans game, and he mentioned the Carolina game. And so I went and looked at the explosive plays from the past 5 games and just the second half in New Orleans. So second half in New Orleans and Carolina, okay? 6 quarters. 6 quarters. Second half of New Orleans and Carolina, 6 quarters, they had 7 explosive plays. An explosive play is a run of 10 yards or more, a pass of 20 yards or more. So they had 7 explosive plays in the past 6 quarters of football, okay? So 6 quarters, 7 explosive plays. That's rushes of 10 or more, passes of 20 or more. 6 quarters, 7 explosive plays. Against Atlanta as a whole in the game, 4 quarters, they had 6 explosive plays. Against the Steelers, they had 9 explosive plays. And against Jacksonville, they had 6 explosive plays. So over 6 quarters, they've put together what should be 1 game's worth of output in explosive plays. That can't happen. And yes, I understand that you missed a throw. I understand that a ball got batted down. There cannot be that level of discrepancy in the explosive plays. And Bobby Slowik talked about it at the press conference. There's an old NFL stat that X number of explosive plays hit increases your winning percentage by an astronomical amount. So the bigger plays you hit, the easier it is to score. The bigger plays you hit, the more likely you have to win. I know it sounds simple, but you're more likely to hit a bigger play throwing the football. The Texans have got to throw the football more. It's I don't want to say it's simple, because it's hard to just sit back and throw, but they've got to trust a rookie quarterback in CJ Stroud, who's been exceptional at different times this season. And they've got to trust a guy in Nico Collins that showcased there's a lot more to his game. They've got to trust a guy like Tank Dell, who is a rookie phenom at the wide receiver position. And honestly, when Noah Brown's been in the game, Noah Brown's made some plays. You got to trust those guys. Dalton Schultz, you got to trust him. You built this offensive line to throw the football. Like, Laremy Tunsil's not some incredible run blocker. Titus Howard, George Fant, they're not incredible run blockers. Even Shaq Mason. Like, they're not some great, amazing run blocking offensive line. This offensive line was built to throw the football. They were built to stop pass rushers and be able to throw the football well. And they're not throwing it as much. They're trusting this rushing attack, which has been a little shaky. And I do hope, as well as wonder, if Devin Singletary gets some things going against the Buccaneers, he has a little bit of success on the ground. If that just loosens a little bit up. I'm not saying run more with Devin Singletary, but if he's more successful on a carry-by-carry basis and it loosens some things up, you start hitting some of those big plays, and you find yourself back in a flow like the Jacksonville game, back in the flow like the Steelers game. This is a tough Buccaneers team. The most points scored against them this season are 25 by the Eagles. This is going to be a low-scoring game. This is going to be points at a premium type game. You cannot settle for a bunch of field goals and beat this team. You cannot be a out of rhythm, punted a ton offense and beat this team. They're going to move the ball enough. Like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the way they've been able to run the football, some of the screen stuff that they've done to Rashad White, like they can move the football a little bit. Points will be at a premium. And you look at how many points they have allowed this year, 25 is their tops. You're not scoring more than 25 points. If the Eagles can't score more than 25 points, the Texans aren't scoring more than 25 points. So you start looking at, okay, how do you beat them? Atlanta scored 16, and they beat them. And you think about what you did against Carolina last week from a defensive perspective, it may not take a lot to beat the Buccaneers, but you're not going to score a lot. Like, it may only take 17 points. You got to get to 17 points. That's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. You know, if you want to get to 16 points, that's a touchdown and 3 field goals. Like, this could be Atlanta-esque in that if the offense is struggling because their defense is taking care of business, you're settling for field goals, then all of a sudden, oh crap, Tampa's down 2 and they can drive the score. Like, you don't want that. You don't want to deal with that. That's tough. That's tough. Okay. I'm doing the raffle in a new way today. Okay. I'm doing it in a new way. Previously, I've had you guys email me or I've had you guys fill out a Google form. This one is a YouTube only raffle. It's a YouTube only raffle. And it's courtesy of our new supporters and friends, Cabo Bob's. If you've never been to Cabo Bob's, boy, are you missing out. Fuel for the journey, wherever your journey's taking you. Like my journey after Cabo Bob's usually takes me to a nap on the couch. Fuel for you the journey. Cabo Bob's is fantastic. Burritos, bowls, tacos, chips, queso, guac. They do it all, and they do it great. How fresh and delicious this stuff is. And my God, do you want fresh? How about they make the tortillas right there in front of you? They pick up the dough ball, they flatten it out, they throw it on a scorching hot coal mall and cook that tortilla right in front of you. Cabo Bob's is fan-freaking-tastic. And there are 4, count them, 4 Houston area locations for you to choose from. Over on Fountain View, kind of close to the Galleria, you've got your Southwest Freeway one, Stafford, Sugar Land out in Katy, and out 249 up here in the Willowbrook and I guess, almost Cypress area as well. 4 different locations for you to choose from. Our friends at Cabo Bob's, man, they support the heck out of this channel. Go in and support them. You will not be disappointed. Here's what I get. I get the ancho chili tortilla with rice, no beans, which they have 3 different kinds of beans, by the way. And then I get the pork. I throw a little cheese, some sour cream, a little lime juice on there. And then they've got this cucumber melon pico that is so good. Oh, my goodness. Cabo Bob's. They take care of you when you go in there. Check them out. They are the sponsors here for our next giveaway. It's a $25 Cabo Bob's gift card. All right, $25 Cabo Bob's gift card. Now, here's the catch. You need to be in the Houston area to win this. I'm not sending this to somebody outside the Houston area that can't use it in one of the Houston area Cabo Bob's. Just be in the Houston area, and I'll send you the gift card if you win. So you're saying to yourself, Cody, how do I win? How do I win this Cabo Bob's $25 gift card and go eat a delicious burrito or bowl or some tacos? How do you win it? It's very simple. When this video is over, you go in the comment section and you just type Cabo, C-O-B-O, C-A-B-O, Cabo, C-A-B-O, C-A-B-O. When this video is over, go to the comment section, C-A-B-O. Simple. That's all you got to put. Just put Cabo, C-A-B-O, in the comment section after the video is over. Don't put it in the chat now. It's not going to show up. That's not where I want it. After the video is over, C-A-B-O, Cabo, It's really simple. You put that in the comment section. I'll do a random draw from the comment section later in the week. CABO. Not in this comment section after the video's over. You guys got to follow directions. Follow directions. Oscar B. You're not spelling it right. So you're getting put in timeout. All right. Vincent Marks. I'm in Katy. You can win. Houston and surrounding areas are the only people eligible for the Cabo Bob's gift card. Houston and surrounding areas. Okay? Real simple. When the video's over, go put Cabo in the comment section. CABO. CABO in the comment section when the video is over. All right? Okay. Q&A time. What do you guys got? We got some questions that are lined up. Get to some of those. Get to some of those comments. Let's see here from Rick. CJ called Bobby out in his post-game presser regarding the lack of explosive plays called. Slowick used the same word, explosive. Look, healthy debate, healthy discussion. Get on the same page. CJ Stroud's got to relay what he sees on the field to Bobby Slowik. Slowick doesn't know what CJ Stroud's seeing and experiencing. He's got to relay that to him. He's got to relay that to him, make it happen from that standpoint. And I trust that these two are going to have a good level of communication, take this thing to the next level. And they've got an opportunity to do it against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Lavero gets, that's my best swing at that one. Still no update on Stingley. Thought he'd be back in practice now. I mean, it could have taken as much as 2 months. It could take more. He's not practicing. Stingley's a Wednesday update. I'll update you every Wednesday on Derek Stingley on Twitter at Cody_Stoots. Update you every Wednesday. If he doesn't practice on Wednesday, he's not going to magically start practicing on Thursday or Friday. So every Wednesday, that practice update, the first one is Drew Scruggs back. The next one is Derek Stingley back, because those are the guys that are set to return from IR. Any update on Drew Scruggs? Apparently he's getting closer, but he ain't practicing yet. And I got to imagine once he practices, he may need some practices to get into the swing of things. Dennis says Howard needs to be at right tackle and Jones at left guard. I agree with you. I advocated for this very change on the YouTube channel yesterday. I would put Titus Howard back at right tackle. I'd put Josh Jones at left guard, and I would go about things that way and see if that changes something. And I think JJ has a nice little comment, a little addition here. Fant hasn't been awful, though. Wonder if the left guard replacement would be a better combo. I have felt like Howard and Fant have been the better combo than Howard and whatever they're going to play at left guard. But it hasn't played out that way. So I'd be interested in seeing how it could play out in a different way, which is Howard back at right tackle and a different left guard in there. So Josh Jones would be the guy that would get that opportunity. Suppose you could say Michael Broker, but Broker's not been close to seeing the field at all this season. So we're moving on from Kenyon Green next year, giving him another chance. He'll come into training camp with an opportunity to win that left guard job, and let's see what happens. They're not giving up on him. He'll have an opportunity. Sean G's got a Mechie comment. If he's going to be used little as he has, would it have been better to bring in another receiver and sit Mechie? I don't mean now, but early in camp. Well, I felt like early in camp they were hoping that he could evolve and turn into something, and I'm not ready to give up on John Mechie. I'm not ready to give up on him, but it's not been good to this point. He has not forced the Texans to put him on the field and get him the football. Like, that hasn't happened yet. Lover will get my best swing at that again. Play calling design is very passive and annoying. Slowick will call a play with short drag routes and curls and a crucial third down long plays. Will always be short. I mean, they haven't always called stuff behind the sticks. And like, they did a good job of getting Nico the ball beyond the sticks a lot of times too. So I think this has been a recent thing, not a constant thing. Oh, my man Devin coming in with the superest of super chats. Devin, thank you very much. The super chat takes you guys to the top of the comment section. Devin, thank you very much, man. This is very kind. What up, Stoots? I think this game, we get back on schedule. I believe Bobby is going to listen to CJ and implement more explosive plays, a.k.a. just pass plays. And we get some more Boone, Metch, and Hutch. Wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it. Mike Boone's had some dynamic moments when he's gotten the ball in his hands, but buried as the third running back on the depth chart. You haven't used him as much. He'll be number 2 this week. He'll be number 2 this week because Singletary's going to be the starter. Damian Pierce is hurt. So if the rushing attack is better on a run per play standpoint than it has been, that's going to open up so much for this offense. And I believe in Slowick and Stroud too. Like, I believe in that combo. And I like that there was a little push from the franchise QB at the podium. We talked about it. Hey, got to get the ball up in the air, get explosive plays. Bobby's talking about explosive plays today. Like, I like that little push, a little nudge from CJ Stroud to have things headed in the right direction. So I believe in him too. I'm not ready to give up on Bobby Slowik. I have people in the comment section on YouTube. Fire Bobby Slowik. He's no God. Fire him. Get rid of Bobby Slowik. He sucks. Fire him. Well, if you fire Bobby Slowik, who the hell's calling the plays? Like, the guy's 7 games in to calling plays. You know who I bet sucked the first 7 games of calling plays? Everybody. Nobody's a whiz from the beginning. Like, give the guy a little bit of time to evolve and grow and change. And oh, by the way, catch the ball, make the throw. Like, Bobby Slowik didn't miss Nico Collins on a deep ball. Bobby Slowik didn't decide to hit Nico Collins on a crosser when Tank Dell and Devin Singletary over there. Like, nobody is one. Like, there's not one person to blame for the failures of this offense in the past 6 quarters. It's a concerted effort. Now, you want to place percentage of blame. Oh, listen, I'm happy to have the conversation, but it's not just Bobby Slowik. It's not just CJ Stroud. It's not just the running game. It's a lot of things put together. Devin, man, thank you so much, man. Very kind, very generous. I appreciate that a tremendous amount. Thank you. Thank you. What's the deal with Damian Pierce? I mean, he got an ankle injury. He's got an ankle injury, so no Damian Pierce. Got an ankle injury. I mean, Katie, I need that gift card. Well, when the show is over, hit the comment section, type Cabo, C-A-B-O, Cabo. You will find yourself with an opportunity to win that $25 gift card. I think Anderson gets his second sack of the game, or second sack this game. He had a second sack and some crappy penalty ripped it away from him last week. I would agree with you. He's close to getting home. He's close to getting home. I was going to go to Cabo Bob tomorrow. Go tomorrow, figure out what you like, and if you win the gift card, you'll know exactly what to get the next time. And if you go, Sean, send me a picture of you going. I'd appreciate that. If you go to Cabo Bob's, please tweet me, email me, Instagram me a picture of you going to Cabo Bob's. That'd be awesome. It's nice to have a little quick change up. Throw the ball to Tank Dell more. That's what I want. Throw the ball to Tank Dell more. The Panthers ran a cool play that I'd like to see the Texans run with Tank Dell. They set up Adam Thielen in the backfield next to the running back. So it was 2 backs, but one of them was Adam Thielen. And he ran like a little just like out and then in from the backfield, and nobody was there for him. It's a nice little easy throw. I'd love to see that play thrown in for Tank Dell. Honest question for this team. Oh, here we go. Where'd I go? Honest question for this team. Is there a downside establishing the pass to set up the run between 2 options? The Texans see the pass better. I mean, I guess if you make a mistake, I don't see the downside because they can throw that quick and short stuff that sort of is a substitute to running the football. And they've done it with success. Yeah, Devin with another super chat. Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much. They loved him about a week ago. Yeah, everybody did love Bobby Slowik a week ago, 2 weeks ago. a month ago. He was like, "Ooh, is he going to be a head coach? Do we need to worry about Bobby Slowik getting stolen from us in the offseason?" Now everybody wants to run him out of town. A little patience with Bobby. A little patience go a long way, I believe. Go a long way. I feel like Mechie's number is called. He has made big plays. Yeah, he's had some nice plays. That's not, you think about the Steelers game where he was over the middle. He ran over a guy like 20-something yard. They trust him to block the ball, or they trust him to block on rushing plays. Block the ball. What the hell does that mean? It's not been good for Mechie because he hasn't gotten the looks or because he isn't cutting it. They trust veterans, it feels like. So, I think they'd run plays for veterans more than they, just throw Mechie on the field or throw Hutchinson on the field. Like, I think they have a concerted effort to get the ball to this person or that person or to run the football. So that's probably got to change. Probably got to open that thing up. Say shout out to Articuno 1993 for good luck. I hope that's not some sort of weird meme that I don't know about. Frank Z, Texans ranked 30th on early downs, so this can definitely affect receivers' possibilities if you touch the ball. Yeah. You don't throw a lot, and then by the time you get to third down, you trust your playmakers on third down. And Mechie's not turned into a playmaker just yet. You want to get in from an audio standpoint, from a video standpoint, you certainly can. There's a link at the top of the description to jump in here like our guy Sean G. What do you got, Sean?
Hey, Cody, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I just wanted to clarify on my Mechie comment, or the comment about Mechie that I made. You were at practice. You saw him at practice. I'm assuming that he looked productive during training camp and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
So the basis I was trying to type without going over 200 characters and whatnot, but my question was basically going to be, obviously he was productive in training camp, and for the limited amount of snaps that he's gotten, or the amount of catches that he's got, he's been somewhat productive. But is he just more lost in the shuffle because there's just way more options? Is it a playbook thing and he's only getting something like selective stuff? Because it just feels like if he was doing what you saw in training camp, that there would be a set of either packages for him. He would be getting the ball more, maybe on stuff to a quick kick out and
Sure.
let him see what he can do with it. That's what I was getting at. Is the least amount of touches that he's gotten. I feel like if you're not going to use him, it just feels like if you're not going to use him, may have been better to sit him during the season, put him on like inactive, right, where he can still practice and all that other stuff, get him into shape,
Sure.
football shape, because he's been out of football for a year dealing with a medical issue that he had, and then bringing someone else in here who may be productive. That's what I was trying to say.
Here's what I think it is. Like, Mechie and Hutchinson were the 5th and 6th most productive wide receivers in training camp. Like, the 4 most productive guys were Tank Dell, Robert Woods, Noah Brown, and Nico Collins. Like, and that's who they've focused on throwing the football to, in addition to Dalton Schultz. So it's like, yes, I'd like to see him get the ball, but I don't want to see him get the ball at the expense of the guys who are more productive. So how do you get him on the field? Well, when Noah Brown was here, okay, you could sneak him on the field when Woods needs a breather, Tank needs a breather. With Woods out, maybe you could sneak him on the field, but we haven't seen that the past couple of weeks. So I think it lends itself to they just trust who they trust more right now. Probably part of it is they trust veterans or a guy that's just dynamic like Tank. And they don't even trust Tank a ton. They only threw him the ball 4 times in Carolina. So, like, I think it's just a combination of that. Like, it's a lot of factors working against him in that he's not one of the 4 best guys, and the trust factor is low because he's playing for the first time in the NFL.
Okay. I was just going to mention, because, like, there was a time when Noah Brown was out, right?
Yeah.
Would have been a kind of, I don't want to say a premier time, but it would have been a good time to maybe get Mechie those 2 to 4 to 5 catches to just let him see what he can do with it, right?
I think those catches went to Tank. I think Tank's ascension occurred because Brown was out, and now with Brown back, he's kind of the new Woods, and then so it's like, how do you how are you focusing on getting the ball to everybody else?
Right.
Like, Slowick mentioned today, hey, we're going to get the ball to the guys that can make the plays. You don't want to focus too much on this or that, but you want to get to the guys that can make the plays.
Well, here's hoping that Mechie is one of those guys, because
Sure.
I'm sure fans would like to see him, get the ball. And I mean, we spent a high pick on him. I mean, you'd like to see what you can get with him.
Yep.
My only other thing is for the defense, particularly Will Anderson. I know you've spoken previously that even though Will Anderson doesn't have the sacks, he's got the hurries, the pressures,
Sure.
things of that nature. With CJ having himself a quote unquote breakout game, Tank had himself a quote unquote breakout game. You haven't seen Will get that, quote unquote breakout game, right?
Right.
And I'm wondering if
it's close.
I wonder if
it's close. It's close. I think it's close.
Yeah, it's close. But I'm wondering if you think do you think fans would feel more at ease if he finally had that breakout game? Because he's getting close, like you said. I mean, he's getting there, but he's not finishing it, right, so to speak.
The pretty stats are going to impress fans. That's sacks.
Sure.
That's sacks, forced fumbles, stuff like that. He doesn't get credit for pushing guys to Jonathan Grenard. He doesn't get credit for forcing guys to step up into Malik Collins, like he has done. So,
right.
Sean, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff from Sean. We see another person in there. We'll get to them in just a second. But Matt Marr had a comment. My goodness, Matt Marr, appreciate the donation in the form of a super chat. You go to the top here of the comment section. I have a theory. Slowick's play calling is meant on purpose so we can assure he's here for multiple years and not be poached as a head coach candidate too early. Little conspiracy theory there, Matt Marr. I don't know about all that. I would say he wants to be a head coach. He's got a lot to prove now to be a head coach. He's 7 games in. Nobody really makes that 1-year play caller jump to head coach. It doesn't happen that often. I don't think he ever is mad on purpose. I think he's got a lot of learning to do. I think there's a lot of development, changing, adjusting that Bobby Slowik needs to do to elevate his game, which then elevates the Texans offense, which then, puts them where they want to go. Appreciate it, Matt Marr. You're very kind, very generous. You've always been a great supporter of the channel. It is very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Is Dameon Pierce ruled out for Sunday? No, but he didn't practice yesterday. He didn't practice today. He got an ankle injury. He's not playing Sunday. He's not playing Sunday. If he plays, there could be a he could have risks hurting himself more. Could not be 100%. He's not playing. Zay wants to jump in here. Zay, what do you got for us?
Hello.
Fire away, Zay.
All right. So, I was just wondering on the Tank Dell with putting him in motion, like how the Dolphins do with Tyreek, putting him in motion while they can't catch him, and he's already, accelerating and can easily get the ball, or, do plays like Tyreek Hill can. I feel like Bobby Slowik can implement that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the stuff that's just it sets Tank up for success. I'd love to see they ran the screen to Noah Brown in week 1, and we were all just kind of banging our head against the wall, what are you doing? I'd throw one of those to Tank and see what he can do. We saw the shiftiness on the rush play where he juked 2 guys and gained 12 yards or whatever it was. Get him the ball in space. Get him the ball in space and see what he can do. I'm with you. Part of that's motion. Part of that's just, Tank can beat his guys off the line of scrimmage. So get him there too, have him succeed there.
Yeah.
What else you got for me, Zay? That it?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that was it.
Appreciate you jumping in, man. Thank you. All right. James without the S. Jaime, what am I missing here? What's your name?
Hey, man, my name's James.
James. Okay, you're missing an S here. All right, James, what do you got for us?
No, I know. But, Cody, just want to say, love what you do, man. Love the content. But I just had a question, man. I mean, what's your opinion on Tank Dell? I know you think he's a good receiver, but you think he could be the Texans wide receiver 1, going forward in the future? Or Probably not this year.
Man, I could see a scenario where he's not the top target guy, but he's the guy that you trust on big plays and makes big plays for you. Like, it's strange because it's hard for me to see how he becomes a wide receiver 1, just because the NFL doesn't have guys like him that are wide receiver 1. But he and another guy as a top 2 wide receiver tandem could be a good crew together. Maybe that guy's Nico Collins. Maybe that guy is somebody else, a free agent or a draft pick down the road. But like, as a top 2, he could be one of the better 2s. I just don't know if he's a 1, like he's the top guy on an offense. And really, we haven't seen him focused on like that from a defense paying attention to him standpoint, or even offense giving him the opportunity standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was week 2 and week 3. He went, I think he had I might have the stats in front.
Oh, did we lose James? James, where'd you go? Nope, James is gone. It was week 3. He went bananas against Jacksonville. He had a great game against Jacksonville. Tank's a talented player. Can he be the top receiver on the team? Yeah, absolutely. Can he be a number 1 wide receiver? I mean, sure. Like, people would have told you Tyreek Hill was never going to be a number 1 wide receiver, but he ended up as a number 1 wide receiver. But Tank's not Tyreek Hill. He's like Tyreek Hill light. So it's like, how exactly does he take that leap to be the number 1 guy? Well, part of it's going to come with targets. They got to get him the ball more. Should have drafted George Pickens, Jonathan Taylor, and Jalen Carter. All right, so not a Will Anderson fan. I'm with you on Jonathan Taylor. Would have liked that. George Pickens is a better player than John Mechie at this point, sure. And Jalen Carter, I don't like Jalen Carter. I mean, I know he's good with the Eagles. It's real good when the Eagles are the rest of your teammates. It's already a good defense. It's already a good defense. It's a little bit easier to play defense when the Eagles are your teammates. Yeah, Will's not had a breakout game, but he's opening it up for sure. Ton of attention. Ton of attention. Slowick cost us 5-2. I'll give the Falcons a pass, but Carolina's inexcusable. It was tough, man. You gotta bounce back if you're Bobby Slowik. You gotta bounce back. Oh, did I miss a question here, James? James said, "Don't." Oh, here we go. I know this isn't a fan show, but we think Tank Dell's a big week against Tampa Bay defense. So here's a fun thing about Tampa's defense. Yes, they blitz a lot. Yes, they let you go on third down quite a bit. They, over the last 3 games, have had the worst defense in yards per pass attempt. They are one of the worst teams in the league over the past 3 in yards per pass attempt, which leads it to explosive plays, which leads it to a big day for Tank Dell. I mean, all Tank needs is a couple of opportunities, and he can turn some little stuff into big plays, man. He's good. He's good. Do you think we should reduce the motion and shifts to make things simpler so we execute better? No, I think they should just do those better. They should just execute those the way it's intended. Sorry, James. I didn't want to miss your question there. I mean, if they got into the 20s against Tampa, that'd be a really good accomplishment. Really good accomplishment. Cody, I'd love to hear your take on Will Levis and how you think he's progressing. It looks like AFC South can be a tough division if Richardson and Levis pan out. Yeah, they will be. It will be a tough division. And Levis did tonight what Will Levis does. He keeps you in a game and he makes a back-breaking turnover that, at the end of the game, you're like, damn, if he hadn't done that, maybe we win. He did that at Kentucky all the time. All the time at Kentucky. He'd make great plays all game. He'd make a back-breaking turnover that would just crush you. He did that, but he's far better than I expected him to be. I did not like Will Levis as a prospect. Through 2 games, that guy's kicked ass. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's been bad. But let's see what happens when the rest of the league catches some film on him. And that's not a great team to succeed. Like, that's not a great team to succeed with. Like, there's not a lot of talent. They just lost Burks, it looks like. Hopkins is still there, and Henry's there, and Tyjae Spears is a nice player, but that's not a great football team by any means. So he's going to have a rough go of things, and let's see how the league catches up to him. Although 3-4 isn't the end of the world, do you feel the Texans took a hit? Their credibility lost to Carolina, or are they just not as good as we think they are? Teams lose. The freaking Chiefs lost to the Broncos. Teams lose. You know, you lose. You weren't supposed to beat the Steelers, you beat them. You weren't supposed to lose to the Panthers, you lost to them. It happens. It happens. If we're running Shanahan style offense, why not add a halfback? You may see that with Singletary. They've run that with Beck a couple of times. So Beck's been kind of open on that wheel route. I know it's not fun to say, hey, the fullback was open, but you know. Eric Saubert, the tight end, playing this Sunday. Yeah, new guy they signed from, been in the league for 6 years from Drake. He's on the active roster. He's the only other healthy tight end besides Dalton Schultz on the active roster. So, yeah, he's playing. I have no idea if he's any good. So must win or it's all over the sea. I mean, not a must win, but you'd feel pretty crappy about 3-5 staring down a matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals. Tell you that much. You'd feel real bad about that. Would you take, okay, here's my question for you guys. Here's my question. Would you take 4-5 if you lost to the Tampa but you beat Cincinnati? Would you take 4-5 if you lost to Tampa but you beat Cincinnati? Like, I don't know that I don't know that a lot of people care about how you get to 4-5. Like, you probably want to get to, ideally you want to get to 5-4. But Cincinnati's a tough matchup. Now they're going to be coming off a Buffalo shorter-ish week because they play Sunday instead of Sunday afternoon. But would you take 4-5 if the win was Cincinnati but not Tampa? Something to think about. James, you're back. Finish your point there, James.
No, I guess my main point about Tank Dell was in college. I don't know if you remember the last year he played for Houston. He was arguably one of the best wide receivers in college statistically. I'm not saying, he's
Sure.
Marvin Harrison Jr., but, he put up numbers that, if that translates to the NFL, I believe he could be a wide receiver one with the way the game is played defensively. These guys aren't getting cracked over the middle, like by Ray Lewis or any of these guys.
Sure.
Who knows,
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the NFL now is about who are your top two guys. How good are your top two guys combined?
Mm-hmm.
And how much can you trust those top two guys combined, and how easy do they make it for everybody else? That's what it feels like to me the NFL is right now. And so Tank plus, player X, that could be a really good tandem. Can be a really, really good tandem.
I completely agree. The last thing, I'll go right after this. What's your opinion on Dameon Pierce? Do you think you guys draft another running back?
I mean, Damien's, it's not been as good as his previous year. And yes, he was good as a rookie, but the investment is not one that you couldn't have somebody take Dameon Pierce's job next year. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'd take a swing at a running back. I'd take a swing.
Appreciate it, Cody.
Good stuff, James. Thank you. Thank you for jumping in. All right, a couple people answering the question here. I'll get to this question, Lover Roger, Love Roger, whatever your name is. I'm taking a Cincy win, absolutely. Nope, they need to win both. Okay. Yes, because it's a conference game. Somebody pays attention to the tiebreakers. Somebody pays attention to the tiebreakers. You never know how the wild card shakes out. Draft Blake Corum in the second round. BCB, a running back that's not even the best running back on his team in the second round? Come on, man. Cody, who are your favorite wide receivers in next year's class? Who you think fit best for the Texans? My favorite's Marvin Harrison Jr. He fits with everybody. I mean, my favorites are the three best. They're my favorites. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors from LSU, and then Keon Coleman is an athletic freak. He is a freak. And CJ Stroud, when he was on game day, mentioned him by name. So, the kid from Washington is good too. I like him. But Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Keon Coleman. I mean, hey, Cody, groundbreaking stuff. The top three wide receivers are your favorite. Yeah, they are. And that's who I want them to draft, because if they're going to invest in one of the guys who's the best. Like, if you're going to bring in a wide receiver, because mind you, you're bringing a wide receiver, he's taking somebody's job as a first-round pick. So, like, whose job is he taking? How well is he going to play? Like, I want to be one of the best guys. I want to be one of the best guys. I wish I knew how to say the Washington kid's name. But yeah, my top three are Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman probably more than Malik Neighbors, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is the dude. He's the dude. And if you're new to the channel, you got to learn about the pizza party proclamation. If the Browns pick is used to select Marvin Harrison Jr., I'll throw a pizza party where pizza's on me, some of the beers on me, and I'll give away a Texans Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey at the pizza party if the Browns selection is used to pick Marvin Harrison Jr. Donnie Mitchell, okay, nice player. Wouldn't be a first-round pick, so a little bit less investment. I think it's a Dunze. I think that's how you say his name. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Washington, the kid from Washington, Roma Dunze. Dominant in some of these games that he plays. So good. So good. You know what else is so good? My friends at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, the best way to play fantasy. I love Underdog. The Pick'em format is so easy. Put together a selection of predictions of higher or lower on some predicted stats, and you find yourself with an opportunity to 20 times your entry in just a single game. In just a single evening, you 20 times your money. So many of you have already signed up for the first time in Underdog Fantasy, and when you sign up in the link in the description down below, use my promo code STOOTS, you get 2 times your first deposit up to $500. That's right. Put in 100, get 200. Put in 200, get 400. Put in $20 like my friend Matt did, who had $40 to play with, and now Matt's well over like $300. Matt's been killing it. He loves Pick'em with Underdog Fantasy, and he's hitting them all sorts of ways. My friend Dusty put in money. He put in a few bucks, got it doubled. He's hitting kicker Pick'ems. Guys hitting field goals and extra points, and he's 20 times in his money with kickers. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy to play. It's very simple to understand. Underdog Fantasy, the best way to play fantasy. And when you sign up, not only you're going to get the 2 times your deposit, you're going to get special Pick'em entries throughout the duration of your time with Underdog Fantasy. That's right. You're going to get special opportunities, special multipliers that take your winnings beyond 20 times. You're going to get what I call free spaces. Tonight, my friend had one that was Derrick Henry, higher or lower than half a yard. Derrick Henry's going higher than half a yard. So that was like a free space for him in his Pick'em entry. Man, it's so much fun. I put together $1 Pick'em entry all the time. A 1 to win 20. Just put together some fun stuff. The multipliers are fun. They've got basketball. They got hockey. Baseball's done. When baseball gets back, they'll have baseball, and you get those freebies. You get the deposit match, but you get the bonus Pick'ems, those free spaces sometimes. You get the bonus Pick'ems all the time on your account. You just got to use my promo code Stoots at Underdog Fantasy. The link is in the description down below. Support Underdog Fantasy and have some fun. Make you some money on Underdog Fantasy. Game responsibly, please. Ooh, I want to see the draft pick next year debut the new jersey. I believe the jerseys are coming slightly before the draft, though. I believe they're coming slightly before the draft. Dennis, I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Can we use Underdog in Texas? Yes, you can. You can use Underdog in Texas because I use Underdog in Texas. You can use Underdog in Texas. Most surprising player and disappointing player midway through the season. This is a good question, Rock WP. It's a good question. Most disappointing player is Dameon Pierce. He's the most disappointing player. Expected a lot more from Dameon Pierce. Hoped for a lot more from Dameon Pierce. Part of it's been the offensive line. Part of it's been Dameon Pierce. Most surprising player. For me, it's Nico Collins. I didn't know he had this in him. It's probably, for me, it's a combination of Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I didn't know that Nico had this in him, and I didn't believe Tank was going to do this so early in the season. So I'll go with both those wide receivers as the most surprising. The disappointing player is Dameon Pierce. You know, you hoped for and you expected a lot more out of Dameon Pierce. It just hadn't been there. It just has not been there just yet. All right, I think that's going to do it for us here. All right, couple of housekeeping things. Hats are on the way. I told you guys about the Cabo Bob's raffle. If you want to be entered into the Cabo Bob's raffle and you live in the Houston or surrounding areas, when this video is over, go comment Cabo in the comment section. C-A-B-O. Cabo in the comment section. That will enter you into the raffle for a $25 Cabo Bob's gift card. C-A-B-O. Cabo. When this video is over, go in the comment section, put that in there. That will enter you into the raffle for a Cabo Bob's gift card if you are in the Houston area. If I find out you're not in the Houston area, I'm not sending you the gift card. I'll send you something else. I'm not sending you the gift card. Okay? All right. Hats on the way. New stickers on the way. Got the Cabo Bob's raffle. Just told you about that. Check out Underdog Fantasy. Check out Houston football. Man, a lot of fun stuff still left on the bone before Tampa. After the Buccaneers, fun game against the Bengals that the Texans will have to deal with. Plenty of stuff coming here on the channel. Plenty of stuff still to come on Houston football. Where I do all my writing. Check it out in the description down below as well. If you want a free week of Houston football, let me know. Send me an email. CodyStoots@gmail.com. CodyStoots@gmail.com. I'll give you a free week to Houston football if you send me an email. So appreciate you guys watching. And we finish the live stream the same way each and every time. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I'd like for you to eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon.